All right, welcome everybody. Hope you're doing well. This is day 1 of junior studies for week 8. All right, so we're going to be in week 8. There's going to be 2 assignments that we're working on this week. We're going to be looking at kind of an overview of what are the steps for getting ready to apply for college. And then we're going to continue working on this week ExactPath, okay? Which remember the goal is 1 reading and 1 math assignment. You know you've completed that ExactPath assignment once you get to the progress check, okay? And once you get to the progress check, then you go into Canvas and you can submit the I have completed my assignment for the week, all right? So we're going to focus the first half of this period on the college readiness, just kind of do an overview of what are some of the things. I know you're juniors, but if you are going to go to college or planning on applying for college, that's something that you start honestly next summer and next fall. So it's things to start thinking about, and before you know it, you'll be seniors, and that's something that you're going to want to know how to do, okay? So the goal is just to kind of get you familiar and start to go over a little bit of that process, all right? So please have Canvas open, all right? And I do want to point out really quick that the college process and ExactPath, so those are the 2 focuses this week. But again, this week is the last day, okay? So things are closing on the 2nd. I am going to give you next Tuesday to do some work in class and stuff, but everything is done next Tuesday, okay? So you want to get work in ASAP. So here's the list of what is still open, okay? So right down here. So week 5, the Google Calendar, Canvas organizing, that closes this Friday. So that getting it organized, that screenshot, really easy grade, right? That closes this Friday, that 2-week window, okay? 2 weeks ago, we did the panorama survey. So you take the survey, you submit a screenshot of your completion. That will close for good next Tuesday, okay? The ExactPath for last week, getting 1 lesson and 1 reading, 1 math, 1 reading done, getting that submitted. And then you also will have the 2 assignments for this week, okay? Those do go into quarter 1, all right? So we don't get as much time because it's end of the quarter, but we're going to do we're going to do the college one in class together. So as long as you're following with me, you should be able to get that done. And then you'll have today and all day tomorrow then in class to work on the ExactPath and get those in, okay? So we have those 2 assignments, the college readiness and then getting your ExactPath done for the week, okay? So that lesson recording page is really helpful with that. All right, so let's go down to week 8. Oh, I went too far. So the nice thing is when you're done with a module, you can just close it up and it actually then makes it really fast to get to your module, okay? So it's going to say week 8 and 9, the college entrance process. We're just doing the week 8 stuff for this week, okay? We're going to go to the overview page. So why don't you give me a thumbs up once you're there and you're ready to go. So we're going to spend about 20 minutes doing this college readiness and just kind of doing an overview of what does that look like? You know, it can be really overwhelming applying for college. And so there's a lot of resources and steps out there to kind of streamline it. So the goal today is just to kind of get you familiar with the process. And again, it's not something you're doing right now, but it's good to start thinking about it because believe me, that's going to be coming. I'm actually writing 2 college recommendation letters this week for students I had last year. Or actually 2 years ago when I taught sophomores, okay? So before you know it, this process will be here. So next year, this time, if you're planning on going to college, you will be applying to schools. You will be going through that process, okay? So once we're on this page, really quick in the chat, when is everything due by? So what date is everything closing? Next Tuesday, what's that date? First quarter, no exceptions because it's end of the quarter. Fill up the chat.
Is it October 31st?
No, it's October 3rd. October 3rd. Yeah, because September 30th is this Saturday. So we're going to be starting, yep, so 10, so very close. Just taking a 0 off or a 1 off, right? So 10-3. Come on, fill up the chat, folks. Let's go. Let me know you're alive and breathing. Thank you, Carlos. Thank you, Nathaniel. Fill it up. Felicia, thank you. Arlene, thank you. Alondra, thank you. Fill it up. Let's go. Tequila, thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, got kicked out. Rita, Rudell, thank you. Michael, good. Trees, good. Aline, good. Mickey, good. Okay, so I don't want to hear I didn't know. It's on the announcement. It's on the weekly page. I'm going over it in class. Okay. So we have to really make sure that, again, we're getting that stuff in. All right. And stuff, because it's pretty easy stuff, a lot of time in class to get this stuff done, and stuff so that you get a good grade. Okay. So the goal is we are going to be looking at the entrance process. Okay. So before we do that, I'm going to have us open up our worksheet and then we're going to go through the slides. Okay. So I'm going to scroll down and you're going to click on the college entrance reflection page right here. Okay. And then we're going to go back through these pages and complete it as we go. All right. So we're going to kill two birds with one stone. Instead of going through it, then doing the page, we're going to do the page as we go. Right. Makes sense. So you're going to click on that. And you're going to click on the college entrance reflection. So open up the tab. Here, I can put this in the chat. Open it up. Actually, let me go to the copy page. Sorry. Let me try this again. Give me a better link. Okay, that one should work. Okay, click on that link. All right, make a copy, and you should be opening this up, college entrance reflection. And the goal is, this won't be too bad. I'm going to go through each one with you. They can be short responses, okay? It's just kind of starting to understand, what does it take to apply to go to college? And if it's something you're on the fence about, then this gives you some information so that you know what you would need to do or what things you would need to change or improve in order to start that process next year. Okay? All right, give me a thumbs up when you have this open. Thumbs up when you have this open. All right, so remember, we created folders. So what you're going to do is you're going to go and you're going to save this to your junior studies folder. So go to that folder button and you're going to save it to your junior studies folder. And remember, we do that to keep ourselves organized. And then we go in the right-hand corner to the share button and we do anyone with the link. And that's to make it so that it's easy to submit. So when you submit it, then I can grade it. Okay? So save it to your junior studies folder. And then you make it shareable over here in the right-hand corner. Anyone with the link, you click down. How are we doing? Okay. So we're going to keep that open. We're going to go back over into Canvas. And I am going to go back a couple pages so that we can complete or find the information that we're needing to complete this form. Okay, so we'll go back a little bit. So 2 pages. Okay, so looking at our form, the first question it says is discuss the main steps in the college application process. So let's take a look. So looking back over in Canvas, that's what our first question says. Okay, so discuss the main steps in the college application process. So let's go back over into Canvas. The college entrance process. Okay, the college entrance process can be daunting. It is. However, the process, if understood, the better prepared you will be. Once the expectations are known, the planning can begin. It is important to realize that there are standard similarities amongst colleges. However, it's important that you visit your college website to be sure. So one of the first things you're going to want to do is beginning of your senior year or end of this year, you're going to want to meet with your counselor. Okay, so that's a really important step. Are you on the right track? What kind of colleges would you qualify? So meet with guidance counselor. That would be one of the steps. You want to meet with your counselor. So you can write this in. Okay, so put this in your response. And this is, again, to assist students in creating a plan academically. What do you qualify for? Because some have GPA requirements, any standardized tests you need to take to make sure, can I even qualify? Okay. Then the next thing you're going to do is you have to take, most four-year colleges require some kind of standardized test. So either SAT or ACT. Okay. So we'll go back over here. All right. So SAT or ACT test. Now, the nice thing in the state of Nevada, you take the ACT as a junior, right? So you be later there. So the good thing is required to graduate. So for most of you, already get checked off. will have taken on the ACT. Okay. ACT is another option you can take senior year. So most colleges will take one year, but most of them want the standardized testing. Again, nationally, everyone takes.
Miss, I can't understand what you're saying. You're glitching in and out, and your voice just cut off.
Okay. Glitching. With my internet. So let's see if I can get connected to my hotspot. Try to make sure you have what on the screen while I get switched over to my. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, let me know if I cut out again. Okay, so you need to meet with your counselor. You have to take a standardized test, all right, which you'll take your SAT or your ACT, but all of you will take your ACT this year, okay, in order to graduate. So that's something that you should meet that requirement. All right, let's go back over. Once you've met with your guidance counselor, do I have the credits? Am I on track? Have I taken the ACT or SAT? Okay, then you have to start figuring out what colleges you want to go to and you apply. Now, it used to be that you would go to every single college's website and apply individually. Very overwhelming. That's how it was when I went to school. So I narrowed down pretty quickly where I was going to go to school because I didn't want to fill out 20 applications. The cool thing they've done in the last 10 years or so is they have something that's called the Common Application, where basically you do one big application and then it gets sent out to all the schools that you want. So it's a great way of kind of streamlining it, okay? So we're going to go back over to our form, all right? And then we're going to say fill out college common application. So this is something you could do with your guidance counselor at the beginning of your senior year. What you do is you fill out a profile and then you start to check all the boxes, figure out where you want to go to school, and then you have your checklist. Now, the cool thing in the Common App is that there's about 750 colleges that are accessible, okay? Like, so a lot of colleges. Now, there are usually fees that go with applying. So it doesn't mean you want to apply to all 750 because most colleges charge a fee. So what you do is you narrow down where you want to go and then you determine which fees are worth it. So you only want to apply to places that you actually really want to go. Okay. So the next thing I would put is narrow down which colleges you want to apply and check their fees. Fees to apply. Because again, you might have 10 on your list. Well, that could be $500 to apply. So you might want to narrow down, start with 10 and then narrow down, okay, these 3 or these 2. You don't want to apply to schools that you don't meet their requirements, right? So you also want to make sure that you're narrowing down, am I applying to schools that I actually have a chance of getting into? You know what I mean? Like if I have a 2.5 GPA and I'm applying to Stanford, let's be honest, that's not going to happen. You know what I mean? Not even a 3.0, like it's not going to happen. So you also want to make sure that you're aligning yourself with schools that align with your GPA and your qualifications. The schools, when you do the Common App, they ask for basic information about yourself, your family, your GPA. You put your standardized test scores in there. You put things you've been involved in, if you've done any clubs, if you've worked. You basically do a resume. You get a couple letters of recommendation. So you could get letters of recommendation from like a teacher like myself. Like I said, I'm writing 2 recommendation letters this week for students that are applying to college. They're doing early applications. You can ask a school counselor. It can be current teachers or it could be previous teachers. So maybe someone you had your freshman, sophomore year that you really like. Okay. So you request letters of recommendation. And those letters of recommendation get uploaded into the Common App. So everything gets put into the Common App, and then you decide which schools to send them to once you pay the fee. So the other nice thing about the recommendation letters through the Common App is when I do them, I put them in the Common App, and then it automatically goes to whatever schools those students have chosen. So the Common App really is a great way of streamlining it. Okay, we're going to go down. We'll go to the next page in Canvas. So it's kind of a general list. Like, what do you have to do? You know, how do you even get started? Most colleges require an essay. Okay, so this is then where some work goes into it. There's all these other forms, and then they want to know something about you. Okay, so most college essays are 300 to 500 words. So usually 2 pages or less. Okay, 2 pages or less. And sometimes they ask you specific questions, or they'll give you a question. Sometimes they leave it up to you. Tell us what you want to know, or tell us about yourself. So sometimes they're very specific with the essays they want. Sometimes they're more general, and you write something about yourself, and your goal is to catch their eye and hope that that they would possibly select you. Let's go down to our next question. Okay. GPA is a very, very important part of the process. Okay. So I don't know your GPA. So do your best. You could do end of last year's. Okay. Or kind of guesstimate what is your GPA. All right. So maybe it's a 3.0. Maybe you have a B average or something. Okay. I don't know. And again, put this in. Nobody's judging you for that. Okay. And so what might be a way that you would improve it? This is a really big year to improve that, because if you start applying for colleges next year, you're going to be doing it based off of your freshman, sophomore, junior GPA. So the grades you're getting right now will impact you down the road. You know what I mean? So it is really important. So maybe you want to get that to a 3.25 or something like that. So so how do you want to improve it? How do you want to improve your GPA this year? Because you have an opportunity, right, to improve or to maybe try to increase that or keep it steady if you're happy with it. So maybe it's attending classes, submitting work on time. Maybe it's doing better on assessments, because they are 90% of your grade, right? So what things could you do this year to improve upon the GPA you have? Well, community college is a lot more lenient with GPA. So if your GPA is low or something like that, then, some state schools will take a 2.5, and stuff like that. So it just depends on where you're applying. I'm just picking a random one, a B average. So what is your GPA? And then what are some things you could do this year to maintain or improve upon? If you're happy with your GPA, then maybe it's just stay consistent, stay the course, right? What you're doing. If your GPA is struggling, then again, maybe it's making sure I'm getting work in, right? Just because you come to class doesn't mean you have a grade. You have to submit work. Doing assignments as I'm doing them, right? When we're done with class, you should have this done and turn it in. So what is something you could do to improve upon? Okay, I'm going to jump back over into the essay portion. So college essays are a way to, otherwise you're a number on a page, right? They're looking at your ACT scores. They're looking at your participation. They're looking at your GPA. The essay is an opportunity for them to actually get to know you a little bit. It's more personal, okay? And stuff. So sometimes they'll ask you a specific question, and sometimes again, they will, they will give you an opportunity to kind of respond as you want. So it's kind of, it really depends on the school. So the college essay is essential. Most schools require an essay. I think community college doesn't, but most universities, so like UNLV would require an essay. UNR would require an essay, okay? If you were asked to choose a topic for this essay, for an essay, what would it be and why? So if you could write about anything about yourself, what would it be and why? So I'm going to give you a minute. Put something down. There's no right or wrong. Maybe you've had to really step up in your family and help out, or help with your siblings or something like that. Maybe, well, let me give you some ideas. Maybe it's something you're passionate about. Maybe you're really passionate about politics or environment or a certain topic or something. Maybe you're passionate about you want to change something in your life. You're like, I've been raised this way and this is what I want to do. They're really open. It's basically, why would they want to let you into the school? Why are you a good investment? You know what I mean? So it's kind of selling yourself in a way, kind of like, hey, here's why I would be a great addition. So like when I did it for grad school to do teaching, I wrote about why I wanted to be a teacher, that I really liked kids, that I felt that it was one of the best professions, that I really wanted to create a positive experience for students, that, have a positive role model. Like those were some of my motivations for going into teaching. So I, wrote about that. Okay. So just jot down an idea. If you're not sure, you can come up with something random. So while you're doing that, I'm going to show you a quick short video and then we'll wrap up this worksheet. Okay. And it's a review of the college process. Okay. This next one, have you taken the standardized exam? Go ahead and put here, just put that you're going to take the ACT this year. I'm taking junior year. I don't think you guys have taken it yet. Usually it's like in January or February. Have you guys taken the ACT yet? You guys haven't taken it, right? Okay, so for number 4, you could just put ACT taken junior year. Okay, and we're going to watch this quick video and we'll do number 5 and we'll finish up this worksheet.
Hey, I'm Daniel. And I'm Jonah, and we're at the Princeton Review from the Princeton Review, here with Rob, who knows a lot about college. And we're gonna ask him some questions about how to get into the application process and some of that, because we want to go to college, because it's cool.
Yeah.
What's a good score on the SAT or ACT?
Good score on the SAT or ACT is a score that's going to get you into the college of your choice. The second part of the answer is the one that makes you feel very confident to go into the admissions process. Most very competitive schools are going to be looking for students that are in that 23 to 2400 range. SAT in March 2016. We list over 2,000 schools on PrincetonReview.com with the real average that they're looking for SAT as well as for ACT.
How do you choose between the SAT and the ACT?
Take both in a practice environment and choose to focus on the one that you do better on.
Sweet. When's the best time to visit colleges, and what should you do while you're visiting?
I recommend 3 things. 1, obviously talk to as many college students as you can. 2, eat on campus. And I think about that as a bucket of just living on campus. So if you can see a residence hall, if you have the opportunity to stay over, you should. 3rd on my list is always talking to faculty members and thinking about sitting in on their classes if you can. If I have a 4th, check out the career service centers on campus. If schools are not talking to you about career services, internships, and then what kind of jobs you're going to get after school, raises my eyebrows.
Okay, cool. How do you choose your major?
You are going to have lots of help. You're going to have an advisor, at least a freshman advisor and other academic advisors, and you'll likely, after you finish your liberal arts curriculum, decide what major you want to declare, and that happens at the end of your sophomore year, moving into your junior year.
So just experiment, find it.
Yeah, you're going to be forced to experiment.
2 years to find out what you want.
Absolutely.
Once you're in college. What happens if you hate your roommate, though?
Yeah, there's roommate issues. There are lots of different official channels for students to go through. One, in helping choose a roommate. But if you dislike your roommate, any good dean of students is going to say, try to work it out. If you can't work it out and you still come to Loggerheads, then they'll probably move you to a different room, maybe with a friend that you made for freshman orientation.
So we learned so much today, and we hope you learned as much as we did. We'd once again like to thank Rob for answering all of our questions. I'm Jonah, this is Daniel, and we're signing off from the Princeton Review.
So some good quick advice of just things to consider If you are going to start maybe looking at schools, if you're considering going more local, if you've looked at maybe going out of state, or you're just not even sure if you want to go to college, one of the best things you could do is visit the campus, we have Nevada State College right here. We have CSN, right here in town. We have UNLV. So there's 3 schools right here in town. And I think there's even a few others that you could go and just visit just to see, is this something I'm even interested in? Doesn't mean you have to go to those schools. Okay. From the video, what is one tip you can use to begin your college application process? All right. So think about from the video. So you could put, he gave quite a bit of advice, again, the PSAT is coming up. So I posted that information of possibly taking that, see if you do better on that or your ACT, to then decide which exam. So taking those standardized tests this year and stuff is really helpful, and taking both to see kind of which one maybe you do better on. Because, as always, you might do better on one than the other. You can submit that. So that's a possibility you could put for number 5. You could put maybe trying to go and visit a college campus this year. So if it's hard to get out of town, go visit our community college here. Go visit Nevada State. Go visit UNLV. What's the campus like? What do they offer? And stuff. So those are great ideas, like physically going and, seeing what those campuses feel like and look like. So that would be a great idea or possibility. And stuff. So, starting to really, again, think about your GPA, how can I improve that? If I'm not happy with my GPA, how can I improve that? Because junior year is a great opportunity to improve that, because when you apply to school your senior year, it's based on your first 3 years of GPA. Now, they consider your senior year as well, but when you're applying, often it's beginning of the year, right? So they're using those last 3 years. So this is an opportunity, if you need to improve, to do that this year, to kind of get in gear and try to raise those grades a bit to help your GPA. So any of those would work. Visit a college campus. Take ACT or PSAT this year. And stuff. So, raising your GPA, get better grades. All of these are great possibilities that would help you in your application process. All right, how are we doing? Give me a thumbs up if you got 1 through 5 done. Again, I don't need a lot. Literally, you could just put kind of what I'm putting. All right. Only thing you need to come up with on your own is number 3. Okay. Writing a college essay is important. So if you were going to write an essay about yourself, what would you focus on? Would you focus on what you want to do for a career? Would you maybe focus on something hard you've been through? Would you maybe focus on a passion you have? Maybe you have a really interesting story, so you would have to decide that. Jada, did you have a question, or is you just raising your hand?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
Did you mark me absent?
Okay, so this would not be the time to end of class, or you can send me an email. Okay, so end of class, or send me an email with the date and I can look at it. All right, but not in the middle of class, please. All right.
Today, I'm talking about today.
I haven't done attendance today. We're in class.
Oh.
I don't do attendance till the end of the day. Yeah, I haven't done attendance. Yeah. So you can't miss more than 15 minutes of class. So if somebody misses more than 15 minutes of class, then they do get marked absent. So, but I don't know till I end class and then I get the roster. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Any questions about the form 1 through 5? Any questions about the form 1 through 5? Okay. So then what I would like you to do is I want you to go submit this right now. Okay. Because I will say I'm alarmed at how many people are not submitting assignments, especially when we do them in class. Okay. So let's make sure for today that you have this done. Get this in. This is a summative assignment. So this will help you. Okay. So I purposely made this a summative assignment. We did it together. So it's a great opportunity to get a good grade at the end of the quarter to help that GPA. All right. So I'm going to give you like 2 minutes, finish this up, and then literally go submit it. Okay. So in Canvas, you would just go to the next page, and then you're going to submit that Google Doc once it's done. Okay. 4 have been submitted. I'd like to see more. It's worth 30 points, and I have made this summative. So please, please, please get this in. All right, so I'm gonna give you like 1 more minute, get this submitted. And then we'll wrap up class today. Tomorrow, then you'll have the entire period to work on Exact Path, which I'll go over at the beginning, and then you'll have that 80 minutes to work. Any questions on 1 through 5? Again, I'm not looking for a whole lot of response. I mean, they can be pretty short and sweet. We answered all these together except number 3. Obviously, number 2, you'd have to put your own GPA, but I was just giving an example. And then, how could you improve it? Junior is a great opportunity to improve it. So what are a couple things you could do? What would be a topic that you might write an essay about? Maybe you've had some hard things happen. So you could talk about how you've overcome those things, or maybe you're working, or maybe you're really artistic or talented, or maybe you're passionate about politics or the environment or some social issue. Maybe there's some career you really want to go into. So what would you want to tell that school about yourself? And then have you taken a standardized exam? So I would just put ACT your junior year, because you will take it later this year. It's required to graduate. So it's something that all juniors and stuff. And I believe that usually happens in like January or February. And then from the video, what are some things you can do? Visit our local college campuses. If getting out of town is hard, I know it's not always easy, work schedules or transportation. Visit the local schools here. Check them out, take the ACT or PSAT, make sure you're taking those standardized tests, and then really work on improving your grades, getting that GPA up. Those are all things that are going to help you. What I mean about politics is maybe you're passionate about immigration. Maybe you're passionate about a certain topic within politics. And absolutely, actually, sometimes they like to hear that kind of stuff. So it was just a suggestion out of like a dozen. So I'm just trying to, because some people are like, I don't know what to write about. It's like, well, something, that's one of many things you could write about. You don't have to write about it. Yeah, I wouldn't go off and talk about, how bad America is or something like that. I would pick a topic, right, and make it constructive. I feel that we should have improvements in immigration, and you could talk about maybe, or I feel we need to improve clean energy, and you could talk about that. I don't know. Again, just ideas. Okay. How are we doing? Give me a thumbs up if you have submitted. Give me a thumbs up. You've submitted. Again, I don't need long responses, so this shouldn't take extra work. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so for today, we'll end there. Okay, so and this is summative, so this is a really good opportunity to get a good grade. Okay, get that submitted. Okay, and then tomorrow we'll log in and we'll work. You'll literally, like, first 5 minutes, I'll just go over getting Exact Path, and then you will work in Exact Path. Okay, and you'll do the 1 reading, the 1 math, and the goal is to get to that progress check, and then you get credit for the week. Okay, if you're finishing up last week's, make sure that you're getting that into me. Again, if you submitted after yesterday morning, I will get to the grading today and stuff. So if you have any questions, stay behind. I can help you. Otherwise, have a wonderful day. All right. And I will see you tomorrow. So make sure you got this in. And then tomorrow we'll go over Exact Path. Thank you. Any other questions?
How do I know what my GPA is?